Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English news for tonight. Headlines, we have the head of state inaugurates the EGAD Dam Memorial. For the international scene, G7 leaders at the bedside of a war in crisis. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic receives messages of congratulation from his counterpart in friendly countries on the advent of the National Independence Day of Djibouti. Congratulatory message from the head of state and government of the brotherly and friendly countries, wishing, as usual, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has health and happiness on the approach of the anniversary of our National Independence Day, as well as more well-being, development and prosperity to the Djiboutian people continue to pour in these days of the presidency of the Republic. The King of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and custodian of the two holy places, His Majesty Salman bin Abdul Aziz, the Crown Prince of the throne of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, and the Emir of State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, are among the leaders of brotherly and friendly countries who have recently sent telegrams of congratulations to the Djiboutian President. Not that the King of Belgium, His Majesty Philippe, the King of Spain, the President of Turkey, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Russian President Vladimir Putin, the President of Gabon, His Excellency Ali Bongo Ondimba, and the President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, had earlier also sent messages of congratulations to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, on the advent of the national independence of our country. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, inaugurated this morning the memorial of the dam, commonly called EGA. The construction of this memorial, initiated by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has the primary objective is of watering the dam. Ismail Omar Guelleh has for first objective is to preserve and perpetuate the painful history of the colonial dam erected in 1966, which constitute a double dam of barbed wire spread over several kilometers to separate the city of Djibouti in 245, with the device of this was the darkest period in which many people died because of this dam, known at that time as the Dam of Shame, because of the barbarity and the repressive violence of colonialism. On his arrival at the EGAD Dam Memorial, the President of the Republic, accompanied by the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid, were welcomed by the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed and President of the National Assembly Mohammed Ali Ahmed, the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Culture and Youth, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asawi, and Secretary General of the Presidency Mohammed Abdullahi Wais. The General of the Djiboutian Army, the Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, the Colonel of the Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, the President of the University of Djibouti, Dr. Jama' Mohammed Hassan, was among others. The national anthems of the country was played by the troops. Then the President of the Republic laid a wreath of flowers and read the Fatiha at the foot of the monument dedicated to the martyrs who died in the colonial barrage.
اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم وأكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم واغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقهم من الذنوب والخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس.
The President visited the premises of the memorial demonstration. President Ismail Omar Guelleh, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, proceeded to the inauguration of the memorial of Ega Dam in the company of the First Lady and the Prime Ministers, as well as the high officials. The President visited the premises of the memorial, composed of a library where several books and stories writings on the colonial dam are stored for the visitors. A room of exhibitions of picture and newspaper article writings at that times were exposed, but also a demonstration presented by a troupe to show to the public the atrocity perpetrated by the colonialism.
afrikada intaa leehobe inaga dhigay udub dhaxaad hobe allahayow noo adkee hobe balaayana naga xijaami aabbaha arlada taariikh urushaha
وأديقها قرن إسماعيل عمر ودعينا يا مولودا
الله نودا
الله نودا.
The Minister of Culture and Youth, Hibo Momin Asowe, said that the objective to preserve and perpetuate the painful history of the colonial dam erected in 1966, which constitute a double dam of parapet wire spread over several kilometers to separate the city of Djibouti into 45 with the devices of this was the darkest period in which many people died because of these dams, known at that time as the Dam of Shame because of the barbarity and repressive violence of colonialism. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, in an important speech made at the inauguration ceremony of this new site, this dam was also a challenge to all the independence fighters who had dared to courageously demand national sovereignty with banners and signs when General de Gaulle arrived in the territory in August 1966 for the colonial administration's fueling and maintaining the division between the community was not enough. It was also necessary to help the advance toward independence by sorting the population into the native and non-natives, indigenous people, paper French, and who knows what else, as the desire for the independence grew into the unshakable will and determination in the popular consciousness. The administration responded with the roundups, expulsions, refoulement, but what is considered activists and leaders either imprisoned and murdered, but the population was not fooled and did not let itself be intimidated. The ragged referendums of March 1967 led the demonstrations and deadly riots. The colonial administrations and the legionnaires obviously overwhelmed by the scale of the popular protest, had no choice but to use repressive and dissuasive violence. In addition to this, there were also administrative harassments and identity falsifications that tended to present the independentists as objective allies of foreign powers. In this context of social and political tensions, the roadblock presented by the colonial administrations as a security device was in fact supposed to thwart or even stifles the independentist ambitions. The head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, said, but paradoxically, the dam only intensified the popular struggle despite the suffering endured by the families who were separated, some even deported. The dam could not dissuade, nor control, much less stop the thirst for sovereignty that emanated from the people with the buildings of the dam. It was their life, in the opinions of commentators. The last 10 years were the harshest and most violent that the territory had known before the deliverance and the accession to national independence. My dear compatriot, we did not build this memorial to dwell on the past. It is just to remember what happened, to remember, but also to transmit. It is a part of our history. We must not reject it into the obvisions and on the contrary preserve it in our collective memory. Yes, the duty of remembrance contributes to the cohesion of our society and to the strengthening of our national identity. My wish is that this memorial, by its evocative power, reminds my compatriot on the nobility of combat when the combat leads to the sovereignty of a people. Thank you for your attention. The head of state Ismail Omar Guelleh said in an interview that it will have values of a physical release in the achievements and maintenance of one of the major facts of the collective histories of our society. Said the head of state, I will undoubtedly also contribute to the development of our cohesion and national identity. He continued paying a tribute to all the martyrs, injured, and families of the victims of the Balbala Dam. The Balbala Dam Memorial, which was built in 2 months, includes an exhibition room, a library, and meeting room. It is also equipped with the largest planet sponsoring by the Majestic Memorials in tribute to the national heroes fallen on its files of honor. Decorations of the witnesses, in addition to the addresses of the head of state. The inauguration ceremony of the Balbala Dam Memorial included an important decoration components for the benefit of the wounded and survivors still alive on the violence perpetrated by the colonial powers on our people during the last 10 years before our accession to national independence. There were indeed a little more than 20 elders to receive these mornings from the hand of the President of the Republic of insignia, mark of the distinctions of the nations, as well as a meritorious certificate of recognition of the fatherland.
أنا قرن قوية جيرالي أنا قرن قوية جيرالي
The first group of 477 Djiboutian pilgrims arrived in Makkah al-Mukarramah to perform Umrah. The Djibouti pilgrims, upon their arrival at the places of residence, received a warm welcome from the members of the Djibouti Hajj missions. After their arrival in the holy capital, the pilgrims went to the Grand Mosque to perform the ritual of life. The Grand Mosque is the largest mosque in the Islam and is located in the Missouri South to provide great services to the pilgrims to enable them to perform the rites of Hajj and Umrah and to provide them with the best organizational health and safety services. Hajj is one of the obligations of Islam and its legitimacy has been proven in the Quran, Sunnah, and consensus among the texts indicated the obligations of Hajj is the holy book of God. It should be noted that the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia pays special attention to the services of pilgrims. It is also stated that the kingdom has mobilized all its human and material potential and energies to carry out the work of Hajj and to serve the pilgrims who came to it from all parts. As part of the celebrations of the independence, the Secretary of State in charge of sports organized yesterday afternoon a march dedicated to cherish the memory of those who died during the long struggles to obtain independence and freedoms of the country. The tradition was respected on Saturday, June 25, 2022, with a march that resembled a march to the memory of those who died during the long struggle for independence and freedom. This important event of tribute to the martyrs recorded to preserve to the presence of the technical advisor of the Minister of Sports as well as the Director of Sports and his team who perfectly organized this event. The elements of the National Police, the Coast Guard, the Gendarmerie as well as the president of the numerous Djiboutian sports federations who participate in this march. Finally, by way of thanks, the Directions of Sports awarded medals and cup for the lucky participant who honored this event by their presence by walking alongside his elders in memory of our martyr. As part of this ceremony of the 45th anniversary of the Republic of Djibouti, the National Navy, in collaboration with the Coast Guard, carried out today a naval parade and a maritime exercise. This is the first time that a naval exercise is held for the ceremony of June 27, 2022. This activity began with a review of the marching unit by the Chief of the Maritime Staff, followed by naval exercises. It is obviously that such a demonstration shows the strategic investment of the government in the field of the defense of the territory and the protections of the vital interests of the country. The maritime domain is synonymous with life for our countries. That's why the protections of the maritime route and the wealth of the sea is a duty for all citizens and especially for all institutions related to this domain. This parade was made possible following the acquisitions of important naval means for the benefit of the National Navy in 2021. It is 3 patrol boats and 2 barges of high sea for the transport of the troops and vehicles. This will help secure maritime traffic and control our territorial waters of all intrusions. It is within this framework that General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, went to the naval station, attended the first joint naval parade between the National Navy and the Coast Guard. The first General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim was briefly briefed by Colonel Wa'is Omar Boghori, Commander of the Coast Guard, and Colonel Ahmed Daher Jama, National Navy commanders, on the contents of the exercises. Then accompanied by General Tahiru Ali Mohammed, the Chief of the Defense Staff, Colonel Mohammed Ilmi Habane, Head of the Operations Division, and the Army went to the high seas to attend the naval parade. A grand ceremony held at the Technical and Tactical Training Centers of Humbuli Sita, located at Camp Sheikh Osman, yesterday, June 25, 2022, the traditional musical evening of the Djiboutian Armed Forces under the auspices of the Chief of the Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, after the health constraint related to the pandemic of COVID-19 of previous year. The ceremony returns has great pomp this year with the participation of the various corps of the army, but the civil society, a moment of relaxation is head vibrated to the rhythms with the sketches and poems, but also sound and melodies interpreted by the group of artists of the armed forces known as the Harbi Troupe.
ألف مبروك يا شعب الانتصار، عيد وطننا مجد وافتخار، سجل يا التاريخ.
As part of the preparation for the celebration of the 45th anniversary of independence, the Minister of Culture, Dr. Hibo Momin Asowe, the President of Municipality of Bul'aus, Abdul Qadir Iman, and Member of Parliament, including Ahmed Ibrahim, Safi Almi, among others, the elected communal officials, many guests attended the cultural evening organized behind the Community Development Center of the District 7Bs. The program of the cultural evening began with the songs of National Day, followed by the evening, moreover, the traditional song, and since the musical groups that ensured the cultural event. As part of the 45th anniversary of the Republic of Djibouti, the Mayor of Offices, in collaboration with the various ministerial departments and the National Union of Djiboutian Women, organized a cultural event in Hayabley, Balbala. The latter saw the participation of many guests, including the President of the Commune of Balbala, Mohammed Hassan, the Member of Parliament. The evening was commemorated by songs and sketches dedicated to the national holidays in local languages.
lii adhabarkeegu dhallinyarada dhuuxii qabtiyo dhuugahooyada ee dhudhummada inaa lagu siduu xeer ku dhigaya
على درجة كل سمن
Djibouti blows its 45th candle today. Djibouti is proud to celebrate its independence, as it is to celebrate its success, having become a key player on the international scene. Djibouti, land of peace, security, meetings, but also exchanges. During this national festivity, the ease of the war of the world will be on the strategic choice that contributes to the growth of the nations. To the growth of these nations whose geopolitical ambitions have become reality. But the celebrations of all Djiboutians of this 45th anniversary has been unanimous through the world, as in this case in Belgium, where the ambassador of Djibouti in Belgium, Aden Mohamed Dileita, in close collaboration with the organizing committee from the Djiboutian diaspora, have organized an unforgettable moment that will remain in consciousness. The Djiboutian diaspora of the jurisdictions of Brussels had the honor to celebrate this 45th anniversary with their side the ambassador of Djibouti, Aden Mohamed Dileita, in a burst of patriotism. The Birmingham Center was stormed for this June 27 to be commemorated, came from different cities of Belgium, but also from the Netherlands, France, and England. These Djiboutians of the diaspora, in their diversity, have communed with friends and partners of the Republic of Djibouti in this part of the world. In addition, the tasting of several dishes typically Djiboutian made discover to the guests their art and culinary wealth. Djiboutians, in short, this evening was synonymous with success. In his speech, the Djiboutian ambassador to Brussels, Ambassador Aden Mohamed Dileita, congratulated the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the First Lady, President of the UNFD, Khadra Mahmoud Haid, Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed, but also the organizers of this event who worked hard for the realizations. This moment of reunion collective joy this evening was an opportunity to show clearly, without ambiguity, the identity of our nation, Djibouti, a strong nation which know how to exploit its national independence and its future by basing itself on noble values. The programs of this evening, rich in color, traditional dances, was embellished by artistic and folk entertainment with a group of singers and musicians who came from Djibouti exceptionally to celebrate this event of great importance.
Simbiri
As part of the National Week of Independence, cultural evening in honor of the commemorations of the 45th anniversary of national independence was held last night at the locality of Ta'asbio. In these platforms of social integration, after the reading of the Holy Quran, which caused a moment of recollection, the national anthem resounded in an air of solemnity marked by patriotic fervor. This event took place in the presence of the Vice President of the Regional Council, Nur Said Geldon, the elders influential people of the locality of Ta'asbio. On the menu, captivating musical songs, folkloric dances, poetic narrations related to the pivotal periods of the struggle for the national independence. On this occasion, the Vice President of the Regional Council welcomed the organizations of this activity in honor of the commemorations of the 45th anniversary of independence. Mr. Mahmoud Ahmed Bahdon, better known as Bulbul, has been working for 2 decades in the development of his native village, Ta'asbio. The Djibouti Football Federation proceeded yesterday evening the closing of the tournament challenge interregionals at the city and stadium. The final to oppose the team Espoir FDF U17, which beat the team of the prefecture of Obok by 1-0. The trophy ceremony was chaired by the mayor of Djibouti City, Said Daoud Mohamed, who gave the trophy of champion to the captains of the team Espoir FDF U17. The first vice president of the FDF and acting president Mohamed Yassin Yonis, as well as several high officials, attended this closing ceremony. The football tournament of the 45th anniversary of the Plateau de Dai, the sport and flag, 2 factors of the gathering of the youth of Dai, who is in joy and gladness. This afternoon's finals of the tournament took place at Dai. The dynamic and inescapable Mohamed Merito invited the general elders, Mr. Abdallah Dabale, and the lieutenant of the Republican Guard, football tournament that was organized on the occasions of the 45th anniversary of the celebration of the independence of our country. This football tournament is for the young people of Dai, factors of cohesion and rapprochement. Beyond the finals, the 2 finalists team enjoyed these moments of joy that they shared together beyond the competitions and winners, loser. It was a beautiful moment of gaiety. All the teams that participate in his tournament of June 27 unanimously addressed their thanks to the Secretary of State in charge of sports, Hassan Mohamed Kamil, and warm congratulations to the organizers, the dynamic Mohamed Merito, who professionally and with a sporting sprite managed this tournament of unity and cohesion. The Center for Social Actions and Empowerment of Women, in collaboration with the Center for Resources and Competence, organized this morning a ceremony of awarding certificate of completion of apprenticeship to about 20 young girls of the Kazaf centers of the Ministry of Women, and have completed a training course in the meeting room of the Chamber of Commerce. The ceremony was attended by the Chief Technical Advisor of the Ministry of Women, Mohammed Ismail, the Director General of the CRC Center, Abdurrahman Almi, the director of Kazaf, Nim'a Yunis, officials of the ministries, trainers, and young girls beneficiaries. The main objective of this training program is to provide young people with a solid trainings with real prospect for personal and professional development, and allow companies to face the structural qualified manpower. These young people have been able to follow the trade of orders prepared in the warehouse, stress the talents, the tests and training course, which explain their final success. For the international scene, the G7 leaders meet in Bavaria to address a world in crisis. The leaders of the United States, Germany, France, Great Britain, Italy, Canada, and Japan are meeting this Sunday, June 26, at a 3-day summit in School Elmo, Germany, to try to increase pressures on Russia, whose invasion of Ukraine has triggered food and energy shortages. The leader will begin their talks with the sessions on the global economy, which is plagued by galloping inflation, especially due to the rising energy and food costs. The participation in the G7 of Indonesia, India, Senegal, South Africa, and Argentina, emerging economy particularly exposed to the risks of food shortages and the climate crisis, aims to forge common response to these challenges. Climate actors also expect the G7 to make concrete progress, including planning for the complete elimination of the fossil fuel. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.